Right now, without a sound, two small organs are cleaning your entire blood supply. Over and over, about 40 times a day, every drop of blood you carry passes through them. They pull out the waste, they keep what you need. They quietly decide how much water to save. You never feel it happen, you never have to think about it. Let's slice one open, slow everything down, and watch your kidneys filter blood. Each kidney is about the size of your fist. You have two, tucked against your back, just below the ribs. Blood is always flowing in. Inside, it gets sorted. The useful parts stay. The waste is sent away. Your cells burn fuel all day long, and that burning leaves leftovers behind in the blood. Salt builds up, acid builds up. If nothing cleaned it, your blood would slowly turn toxic. The kidney's whole job is to stop that from ever happening. Follow the blood in. A wide vessel called the renal artery branches straight off the body's main pipe. About a fifth of every heartbeat's blood is sent right here. That is a huge share for an organ this small. Inside, the artery splits again and again into smaller and smaller branches. Like a tree dividing into twigs, each twig carries blood deeper toward the real machinery. The kidney does not filter in one place, it filters in a million tiny places at once. That tiny place is called a nephron. Each kidney holds about 1 million of them. One nephron is a single filter, paired with a long looping tube. Picture a small knot of blood vessels sitting inside a little cup. That knot is where the filtering begins. The thin tube trailing from the cup is where the careful sorting happens. 1 million of these, working together, do the entire job. Lose some, and the rest take up the slack. Let's zoom into just one. Inside the cup sits a tight ball of leaky vessels. Blood arrives here under real pressure. The walls of these vessels are riddled with tiny holes. Water and small things, salt, sugar, and waste get squeezed straight through the holes. But the holes are small on purpose. Blood cells are too big to fit. Large proteins are too big as well. So they stay behind in the blood while the watery part is pushed out into the cup. This first step is a rough sort, by size alone. Here is the surprising part. Across all your nephrons, this rough sort pushes about 180 liters of fluid out of the blood every single day. That is far more than the blood you actually carry. So the kidney is not really throwing fluid away. It is making a giant rough draft, then carefully editing it back down. That watery draft now sits in the tube, waiting to be sorted. Almost everything in it still matters. The next steps decide what to keep. The fluid flows into the first stretch of tube. This is the reclaiming zone. The walls are lined with hungry cells that grab back the valuables. All of the sugar is pulled back in. Most of the salt comes too. Most of the water follows close behind. These cells actively pump the good things out of the tube and hand them to nearby blood vessels. It costs the body energy to do this, but it is worth it. Almost everything useful is rescued here the moment before it would be lost. Then the tube takes a deep dive. It plunges down into the kidney, makes a sharp turn, and climbs back up. This loop has a clever trick. Going down, water quietly leaks out. Climbing back up, salt is pumped out instead. Together, this builds a zone deep in the kidney that is intensely salty. Think of it as a salt gradient, strongest right at the core. Why bother? That deep salt is the tool the kidney will use in just a moment to pull water back and save it. Past the loop, the fluid reaches the fine-tuning stretch. Here, the kidney listens to the body. Chemical messengers arrive in the blood, carrying orders. One message says, hold on to salt. Another says, hold on to water. If you are dehydrated, the orders change the tube and more water is saved. If you drank plenty, less is saved. This is where balance is quietly set. Not just cleaning, but adjusting, minute by minute, to match exactly what your body needs right now. Now the leftover fluid drains into a shared channel, the collecting duct. It runs straight down through that deep, salty zone we built earlier. When the body wants to save water, tiny doors open in the duct walls. The surrounding salt pulls water out through those doors, back into the blood. The fluid that remains grows more and more concentrated. What started as a watery flood is now a small dark trickle. That trickle is urine. Everything worth keeping has already been taken back. Meanwhile, look at the blood. Everything reclaimed along the way. The sugar, the salt, the water has been handed back to vessels wrapped tightly around the tubes. That cleaned blood gathers into larger and larger veins. It leaves through the renal vein and rejoins the body, lighter, balanced, and clean. Minutes later, it will loop around and arrive again, and the whole sort will run once more. The work never truly stops. It simply repeats quietly for your entire life. And cleaning is only half the story. By choosing what to keep, the kidney sets the level of salt and water inside you. That, in turn, helps set your blood pressure. It guards the acid balance of your blood, keeping it from turning sour. It even releases a signal that tells your bone marrow to make more red blood cells. One small organ quietly steering your whole inner chemistry. Not just a filter, a control room for the body's fluids. So here is the whole path. Blood pours in through the renal artery. It reaches 1 million nephrons. In each one, pressure pushes a watery draft through a leaky filter into a little cup. The first tube reclaims the sugar, salt, and most of the water. The looping dive builds a salty core. The fine-tuning stretch takes its orders from your hormones. The collecting duct uses that salty core to save the last of the water. Clean blood leaves by the vein. Urine drains quietly away. 2 fists of tissue hidden against your back, filtering your entire blood supply about 40 times a day. And you never feel a thing. There is no pump you can hear, no switch you can flip. Just 1 million tiny filters, sorting, saving, and balancing every single second you are alive. The next time you sip a glass of water, somewhere deep inside, the sorting has already begun. That's the Cutaway.